right. Here we're going to try this again. What's going on, my fellow wealth creators? Matty Guys here. Welcome to another training. We're going to have a really, really good conversation today about WFG, PHP, FFL, the new one's GFI, like these multi-level marketing financial services company that promise that you're going to make all this money while helping a ton of people. And for me, I just have a real big problem with companies like this. Not necessarily because they're network marketing. I'm not really opposed to that and like recruiting and building a team necessarily, but it's all the moral hazard involved with these companies. And I just don't think, just like, you know, on my channel, I talk a lot about IUL, which I'm not a fan of at all. People buy IUL without really knowing what they're buying. I think it's the same thing with these multi-level marketing companies where they don't really know what they're joining, like what they're actually becoming a part of, the products that they're selling. And there's so much emphasis on recruit, not a lot on product knowledge and how to structure these like really life-changing products that they're selling, like Indexed Universal Life. We're not talking about selling makeup kits and protein powders and stuff like that. We're talking about major financial decisions that people are making with these products, and the agents that are joining have no idea how they work. They're buying them themselves too without knowing how they work, even before they're licensed. And there's just so many things that I think you need to be aware of before you join a company like this. The three main things that we're going to discuss, among a few others, but like we're going to talk about the commission structure in these companies, why that doesn't make sense. They can be pretty awful. The fact that you don't own your own business as well. We're going to talk about the moral hazard of selling their primary products, which is Indexed Universal Life Insurance, and the massive amount of damage that product can do to people. And here's the thing: I don't think I think most people, Matt, I think you would agree with this too, is that are interested in joining an opportunity like WFG, PHP, whatever. They actually do want to help people, right? I don't think anybody gets into this business wanting to hurt anybody intentionally, right? Just to make money. But oftentimes people don't know what they're actually selling to people when they join a company like WFG or whatnot with these IULs and stuff. And that's really what I want to discuss in this video. And there's no better person to talk about this topic than with Mr. Matt Seibert here from Life 180. He's an awesome mentor, beast of an agent over at Life 180, and he has a background in these companies with WFG, and so I think you're the perfect guy to talk about this. So I really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, for sure. So let's get started with start with your background a little bit. How you got involved with which company, and what was the journey to you discovering that something's not right here?
Yeah, I mean, I started off in it was a company branch off of WFG, but it was ran off the WFG system and you know what they do as a company. Been with that company nearly a decade. And I worked my way up to being the CEO's right-hand man. It's one of the reasons why I have a lot of insight on the systems and what they do and why they do the things that they do. And it's one of those things where those types of companies are really built on smoke and mirrors. And as you get deeper and you stay longer with a company and you work your way up, that's when more and more things are actually revealed to you. And so, unfortunately, it took me 8 years for me to really see the big picture, but that's how good they are at hiding certain things and revealing certain things once they feel like they can trust you, that you're pretty much in, you know what I mean? You're in the inner circle. But as you get in deeper into the inner circle, you start to, you know, take a step back and say, what the heck are we really doing here? Right. And it was a long journey. And fortunately, a lot of things kind of coincided. I always felt like something was wrong. Unfortunately, with those types of organizations, the longer you stay, the higher you move up, the more leverage you have. And I was in kind of like a predicament where I really didn't have much of a choice. I had to figure some things out, but everything was highly leveraged against me, where all my business, all my commissions, everything could be taken away. Right. And so I had to strategically figure out what I was going to do. But around that time, that's when COVID happened. And then it just created my exit for me. And then I ended up at Family First Life, which is a whole other circus act, which we could talk about as well. And then once I realized that was a bunch of clowns, I found Life 180, and then here I'm at. And so it's one of those things where I kind of look back, I felt like I was just going to forget about it. It was my past and it was behind me, and I
Right.
was going to look forward. And the reason why this stuff keeps on coming up is now with Life 180, I'm interviewing 3 to 5 agents a week, sometimes,
Right.
more than that. And predominantly, most of them are coming from WFG, PHP, GFI, Primerica, all these different companies. And every single week, I'm just hearing stories upon stories of just stuff you just never would have imagined would be happening to agents.
Right.
And they're completely taken advantage of because they're green. They're brand new to the industry. And I hear all these stories, and I think my second or third weekend of doing these interviews, I realize nobody's standing up for these agents. Like, what is being done exactly? And just kind of taking a look at the environment, I realize there's nobody really standing up against these organizations and saying anything, calling them out.
Right.
And for me, it's now become my personal mission, because if there's anybody that's willing to stand up and call people out, it's me. And I know enough as far as how they play their games, where I can objectively point things out and kind of guide people and allow them to make their own decision. And that's my thing. Hey, look, if you like that and that's your Kool-Aid, no problem. Keep on drinking it. But at least I want to kind of reveal to you what's behind each door.
Sure.
And then you can make an educated decision if that's the direction you want to go. Because a lot of these companies, when you join them, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to see too far. You're only going to see what they put out one by one. And then over time, years, you'll finally be revealed to you what it really is. And then you just wasted practically like a year. And so I just want to speed that up for people and kind of show them, hey, look, this is exactly what you're getting into. And you're going to have to make a decision if that's exactly what you want to do. Right. And what I find, over 99.99999% of people, when I kind of explain what they're going to go through, they say that's not for me.
Right.
We're on to something, right?
So what is that? What are they going to go through? Walk us through the process of joining one of these companies. Like what does that journey look like?
Yeah. Every company is a little bit different, but overall they have the same practice. They'll usually invite, people to some type of overview, an introduction to the company. And in that overview, it's already pre-made, like a sales pitch in a sense, to pitch to you how you're going to make money, how you need to leave your job, how your life is going to completely change, financial freedom. You're going to be, this rich person, whatever the case may be, however they sell it. Right. And then this is the good part, is they sell based on a crusade. And I think that we all get behind, as far as the impact of helping families financially, the problems in our country with financial literacy and all that stuff.
How could you not get behind that?
100%. So that part's good. But what they don't tell you, of course, their answer to all of that is IUL, which we'll talk about a little bit later.
Yeah.
But regardless, the sales pitch, the overview is really strategically designed to evoke emotion and getting you excited to, hey, I'm going to do this thing, right? So it'll be another day, but you'll meet with the person. And then this is where exactly what you're getting into is you're going to have to pay to join the company. Ideally, most of these companies will say it's a background check. It's not. It's a membership fee. It's a complete lie. That money goes straight to the company. And
I don't know how that would get past legal, because it's not. Yeah,
well, they could technically say it's their internal background check, but it's like, okay, what did they really check, right? In a sense. But it's a membership fee. And then once they join, that's kind of where they take you on this journey. But really, that journey, it's presented to you as this is your training program. This is how we're going to train you. But what's not revealed to you is just a way to extract your contacts and extract your lists and extract the people that you know to schedule more appointments. So you're basically a lead generator. Right. That's why when you ask these companies, do you have leads? A lot of them, they actually say, yeah. And it's true. You're the lead. So they didn't lie. It's an internal lead system. So internal consumption and stuff like that. Yeah.
Let's talk about that really quick. So what happens, like, let's say I join WFG and I'm making a list of my contacts that might be interested in these financial services, whatnot. What happens at that point?
So first off, I have no problem with creating a list. I think you should. I think it's the smartest thing you do. Create a list. And that's really the purpose of taking a look at what resources do you have, right? Who should you talk to? What relationships could you build to generate referrals and stuff like that? I think it's a great place to start. Unfortunately, what they do is most of these companies, and this is what you got to watch out for, they'll have you input your list into their system, right? So it's their CRM, their platform, And usually you're putting in their name, their phone number, email, and all that. The reason why you want to be careful, if you see that when you quit, because there's a 99% chance you're going to quit once you figure out what you're going to do, they keep your list and they call those people. They actually call your list. Could you imagine that?
Right.
Like your uncle's getting a call from some guy, and it's just crazy, right?
Yeah, good stuff.
But that's really the purpose. So they're going to create your list, and if once you create the list, immediately what they're going to do is they're going to present to you some type of carrot. Hey, so we got 7 days or 10 days or a certain amount of days to get you promoted. And in order for us to accomplish that, we got to go on a few appointments and close some deals. One of those deals is going to be your own policy. So they'll, of course, set up their own policy and close them on an IUL. And then they'll schedule 2 or 3 more appointments, having the agent focus on getting promoted. Right. So the agent's excited and they're dreaming like, okay, I want to get promoted, and gets them out of the comfort zone. They're scheduling appointments with their uncle. And then there we go. Now, here's the big problem. You're not licensed. You don't know anything about the product. You don't know anything about the leader that's going on the appointment. So you're about to introduce your family member to somebody that you don't even know their credibility or trustworthiness.
Right.
There's just a lot of moral hazards with this situation. And then you're, starting your own policy and you don't exactly even know what the product is. You just got a basic overview. You kind of know these, you feel like everybody's a good, person, because that's the environment that they create. And then in a week, this is what's happened. You submitted your application, your uncle and your mom just submitted an application. And at the end of the day, you're not licensed and you don't even know what the heck is going on. That's usually.
And you don't get paid on any of that either, right?
You can't get paid because you're licensed, but that
because
is
you're
why
you're not licensed at that point. So your upline gets paid on all that.
Well, this is why they strategically do that. They actually want to work with you while you're not licensed, so they can get paid on your deals.
Sure,
which is crazy, right? I mean,
that is crazy.
Yeah, and it's almost
I set with when I joined Live 180, I got paid. I set up 2 whole life insurance policies. We're gonna get to that later, and I got paid on them. And the network that, like my network that has reached out to me, like the way I generated my leads, I just post on social media and I share my story. And I had people within my contact list reach out, say, hey, I'm interested, whatever. I'm getting paid on that. Right. I mean, obviously there's overrides and stuff like that. And that's fine. But I think that's an important thing to recognize, is that that's not how it should be, at least in my opinion. Okay. And you're saying that they strategically do that so that they make money off of your contacts, you and your contacts, on products that you have no idea what you're buying, what your family and friends are buying now. And again, we just go back to the moral hazard of that. So I just want you guys to be aware of that. It's kind of messed up in my opinion. So go ahead.
Yeah, it's funny because we get a lot of people when they come over from WFG and all these other companies, and I tell them, hey, look, here, if you want to write your own plan, you could write your own plan. You get paid on it, and they're kind of shocked. They one recent one actually the other week, they said, "Oh, you can actually do that? That's legal." Right. I mean, that's how much level of brainwashing that's going on.
I had that the other day too, Matt.
Yeah,
I had that the other day too. Agent coming on board, and she asked about writing her own policy and doing a commission split with me. I'm like, no, we don't need to split anything. Yeah, you get paid for writing your own policy. She's like, what? Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, everything in their system is built on speed, in a short amount of time as possible, getting people through their system. And really, ultimately, what that equates to is faster sales for the agent, but you're screwing the agent that you just recruited, because they don't really get any commission off of it. They're not even licensed. And the reason why they do that is they realize that once people realize like what's happening in the company, they'll probably quit. So they try to go on appointments as fast as possible, get the commission. And by the time you quit, they already made some money. And that is the problem.
That hurts. Let's talk a little bit about the commission structure. From what I have heard about these companies, the commission structure for actually selling the products and services is not very good, at least in the beginning. What I've seen is that if you really want to make good money, you have to recruit, you have to build a team. I don't, obviously every company is going to be a little bit different, but I think like the starting commission is like around 25% of any sale that you make. Is that pretty consistent among these companies?
Depending on the company, it could be anywhere from 25 to 30%, which that really doesn't exist in the industry. And the only reason that they're able to drop the comp that low is because WFG, PHP, that entity is actually the one that's going to be paying you. The carriers pay them. They take that money and then pay you a lot lower than what the carriers, even their bottom rates are. That's why it's so low.
What's up, my fellow wealth creator? Thank you so much for checking out this clip from the Millennial Wealth Creator podcast. If you'd like to watch the full podcast, there will be a link down below in the description. Make sure to also check out the additional tools, training, resources that I have in the description as well, just to help you along your journey. Thanks again for checking out the clip, and we'll see you in the next one.